The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. For our regular listeners, you'll hopefully recognise my voice and realise this is Ricky. I will be your host today. If you'll just cast your mind back a week ago, me and Clive made a bet. Clive says he believed it would be AJ versus Naka on SmackDown just yesterday, and the title would change hands, and if he was wrong, I would be allowed to host this week's episode. And obviously for everyone who's caught up with SmackDown, you'll realise no title changed hands, so Clive has stuck to his side of the bet and is allowing me to co-host. So, I'm on my own this week. Unfortunately Clive can't join me, so yep, I'm sorry folks, but you're going to have to listen to my voice for about an hour and a half. So that's enough for now, so we'll just get straight to the first point on the agenda this week. So
stand back, there's a Camilla mark coming through.
Stand back, there's a hurricane coming through.
Cut the music.
Cut the music.
So yeah, unfortunately folks, I couldn't exactly be on my own this week. We are co-hosts and friends. So Clive, how are you?
I've had a better week in my life than this one. I've had quite the tummy bug, the whole family has, so it's been a tough one. And to lose the bet is tough as well. So you are in charge of all the hosting this week. But I would like to say that I got a few things right for prediction wise this week, if you would like me to run them off.
Yeah, on you go.
Right, so, okay, Nakamura didn't walk away with the WWE title, but I was correct in thinking there would be a social media announcement of a match between them. Nakamura did win his match, and I think I did say last week that Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn would somehow get back into the Money in the Bank picture. And would you agree that all those made the headlines?
Yeah, when I first saw the tweet from Shane McMahon, like, I must admit, like, my heart sort of skipped a beat, and I was like, oh my god, they got it right. But then as you go further down the tweet, it's obviously just talking about the winner got to pick the there, and I could see where your thinking was coming from, but unfortunately for you, you were wrong. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing. It might be a one time only, depending on how I get on here. But I'm happy to take this role at the moment.
Good. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavours.
Right. So, shall we just get moving on with the show then?
Yes. Would you like to make the first announcement?
Yes. So normally, obviously, we talk beforehand, obviously off air, what we're going to do with the show. Now, something broke in the last couple of hours, and I don't know if you know about it, but I specifically didn't bother texting you about this because I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because I wanted to get your reaction to it. Enzo Amore was cleared of all allegations.
I saw that, yes.
So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read a couple of little bits from his statement. So, he 2018, he was accused via the internet and social media of misconduct during an alleged incident in Phoenix several months earlier. So this part's interesting. He says prior to the date, no law enforcement or any other official had contacted him regarding such claims. So So it sort of goes on and just to say, like, more or less just sort of abbreviate sort of what he's saying. He's happy to be cleared and he just sort of wants to move on now, and he's now going to see what he wants to do, what ventures he wants to do now, and what he wants to do with potential wrestling career or a career outside of wrestling. I just wanted to get your take. A, what are your thoughts on it? And B, is there any chance he will end up again in WWE or in wrestling with another promotion?
To answer the second question, there is every possibility of that, because I mean, you see lots of people who've got a coloured past, whether true or untrue, make a name for themselves in the wrestling world later on. I mean, look at the likes of Rich Swann. I know that's a touchy situation, but you get Rich Swann, Moose, even the likes of Austin and stuff like that as well. So people do get back into the wrestling business, and I think for heat magnet purposes, having someone like Enzo in the promotion might work for them. It just like, especially if he's off the leash when it comes to more adult content and an independent promotion. I don't think he'll make his way back to WWE though. And what I do find quite interesting is his claim that he only found out about the charges at the same time as everyone else, which is apparently the reason that WWE fired him in the first place. And there's two different versions of the story there, so I'm not really sure what to believe, and it's quite not damning of WWE. But if it is true that Enzo didn't know, then what is the real reason that he was fired then, apart from just being an arsehole?
So here's my take on it. I think it's difficult to say, because at the time when we first found out about the incident, we were sort of led to believe that Phoenix Police did speak to him, or at least wanted to speak to him, so he was aware of the allegation. They've obviously denied it, but at the time I do remember reading things that police either wanted to speak to him or had spoken to him about it, so he had knowledge of the accusation. In regards to like the actual clearing of him, it's good that there's been some sort of answer to it. No matter what the outcome was, no matter if it turned out he actually did commit this crime, or what's now come out that he didn't, or the police have dropped the case, dropped the charges, not enough evidence, I think it says, then like that's why I said there's been no winner, because the girl has potentially just made it up. Again, it's still, for me, it's still a little touchy, because they say that there wasn't enough evidence. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't take place. It just means they might not have enough evidence to prosecute. So it says the police department recently informed him and his counsel that there is insufficient evidence. So that can be interpreted a couple of different ways. So, but like I said, it's the incidents. They've dealt with the matter for now. Like I said, there was never going to be any winner, because you potentially had a woman who was raped, or you had a man who was wrongly accused, and his career really nosedived at the moment. But in terms of a popping up in wrestling, maybe, yeah, it popped back up in WWE. I don't think there's a chance, because I understand that we've took people back. We've taken people back because, like, even though they've had a checkered past. But I think if it is true that he did know about it and didn't tell them, I think that's the sort of that was the main reason, I think, why they got rid of him. Maybe they were looking for a reason before it, and they've just found, and they decided, well, here we go, now we've finally got the reason. So I'd be quite surprised, because there's that element of trust. Can your employers, Vince specifically, trust you again? But it's difficult. But it's good it's over and done with now, and now we'll see if he actually does come back into wrestling. In terms of, do I want to see him back in wrestling? I really couldn't care less in WWE, because I was not a big fan of him anyway in the first place. I got the whole gimmick. I got, like, you know, it was like people liked it and everything, but I just, in-ring ability wasn't that great. So I'm not too bothered if he comes back into wrestling, but at least you sort of get a almost sort of definitive answer of what's happened, and now both people can potentially move on with their life.
think one of the things that you need to pay attention to in his statement was that he said he's going to have a look at his behaviour and his lifestyle choices. Why would he say that?
That's the thing, like, maybe, I mean, I don't know, I think he was, though, I think he was in Phoenix and around that time, so I want to say he was at it was either a Foo Fighters or a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, I think, and around that time. So maybe, like, you might just be thinking the people he was there with, or the people, like you said, who he associates with at the moment, and maybe this is all just a way of, like, look, I'm showing you that I've cleaned up, I've learned my lesson, and I'm not going to do those things I've done in passing, and with the hope of potentially coming back into the WWE. Because, like you say, because the police have deemed him, if says there's not sufficient evidence, like you said, if he does come back, it could be like a sort of almost like a feel-good story, if you know what I mean, just in the sense that you've had someone whose career in life was potentially over, in the sense that he was going to be put in jail potentially, but now he's come back and he's back in the WWE. But like I said, I'd be kind of surprised if he came back, just because of if it is true that he knew, can we trust you if anything is going to happen in the future? Maybe not to this scale, but just anything else.
Mm-hmm. The big question is, though, do you think Enzo will be all in on September the 1st?
I don't know if he'll be all in, but there'll be a lot of other people that's going to be all in, and so other people already are all in.
Aye.
Obviously that was sold out in, was it like 29 minutes 30 odd seconds, so it was less than half an hour where they sold 10,000 tickets. So whether it's going to be Cody taking whoever's holding the NWA World Championship, whether that's going to be Nick Aldis or not, I don't know, but considering if that, I can't remember whether or not that match actually was announced before tickets went on sale. I'm trying to think, but I'm not too sure at the moment.
I think
so
it was
even if
just
it did,
by a day or so.
Was it right? So even if then that's just one match that's been announced. So they sold out based on the reputations of the wrestlers, and I think do you remember having a discussion quite a while back? I think when it was announced, we says, do you think they need some sort of special guest, special attraction to sell out? And at the time I said not a chance. I think they'll do it I think they'll sell out very, very quickly and easily without that. But I suppose you could always say Okada would be that sort of high profile special guest, special announcement, because a lot of people in America, and probably if you've never really been to a show in Japan, you won't really have seen him live. So yeah, like I said, the fact that they sold out that quickly, it's impressive. And like I said, I think it has the potential to be a real good show. Just that some of the other stuff that's coming along with it, that I'm not a massive fan of, and it just sort of has you sort of scratching your head and just wondering what your thoughts are.
What is it you're scratching your head at specifically?
That I've saw people tweet and say things along the lines like Cody and the Young Bucks or whatever, or All In now have saved the wrestling business. Yeah. I was unaware that the wrestling business was in need of saving.
It's one of those ones you don't know where to start with, but firstly, I've got no issues with it selling out. I don't even think Okada coming on board was necessarily what made it a certainty that it would sell out. I think it was always going to sell out, maybe just not as quickly as it did.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a lot of, I think the only people that have a voice with this at the moment are sort of sore winners and sore losers, if that makes sense. There's no middle ground. I've heard a lot of people just generally happy that they're going to see all their favourite indie stars at the one event and a special showcase of all their favourites and stuff like that, and I get that, it's fine. But people have started arguing about scalpers. My opinion on the scalpers side of things, or ticket touts, in the grand scheme of things, you're always going to get scalpers for shows, and it always, like, I think SummerSlam's quite a lot, it's quite a high percentage of scalpers that are going to SummerSlam. Well, not going to SummerSlam, if you know what I mean. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not as bad for All In, and there was apparently only 200 or so that had been in the secondary markets for selling the tickets, that's a hard thing to gauge, because those secondary tickets, the secondary markets, they could sell and then more could go on, so it could be a constant sort of amount of secondary market tickets on the go. So it's really hard to gauge how many. What I think the problem is, people are saying they won a bet with Dave Meltzer, that's all it was. People seem to forget that this happened because Cody was coaxed into Meltzer said, I don't think they could sell out an independent show for 10,000 seats, and Cody said challenge accepted. That's what this all stems down to, and that's what it all boils down to as well. But what's happened is, and I don't know if you agree, but there's very much a us versus them mentality with this one, and it's a anti-WWE versus pro-WWE, and people can deny it, but there are people out there. I mean, I saw someone saying that they hope All In sells a bunch of tickets and pisses off a bunch of people in the process. Why do you want to piss people off just because a show sells out? Why does that give you satisfaction? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right, well, to go back to the whole ticket tout thing, that's that happens at every single event.
Aye, it's not a big deal.
Whether it be wrestling or any other social thing. Because look, I'll use an example. I was trying to get tickets to go to the Philadelphia Eagles and Jacksonville Jaguars game in Wembley in October. So I'm sitting on NFL UK website and I'm trying to get 2 tickets for me and my wife. And ultimately, by the time I got through the queues, I was only able to buy 1 ticket. So it was separate seats, but I didn't bother doing that. So then I checked again another sort of hour later just to make sure, just to double check. At that point, they were sold out, right? I then went on to StubHub, I think it was, and the same tickets that I was going to get for like £120 or so it was, were going for like £800-900. So it happens. I don't, not so much you need to accept it, but you just need to sort of, I'm going to contradict myself, but you accept that sometimes these things happen. So that's that. In terms of the whole us versus them mentality, yeah, I mean, like, people can deny it, but it's so blatant. And there's a real vitriol, a real hatred towards WWE in the terms of when they're it's not even that we're so pro indies or quote unquote indies are so pro All In. It's just, why do you need to compare the two of them? Like, why? Like, that I don't get. It's like, can't you just enjoy one or the other, or just enjoy both? And that comment that you say is that I hope they sell a shitload of tickets and piss off a tonload of folk or whatever, then what do you gain from that?
I can't remember where I saw that, but it stuck
out. So, because you told me about it and I went and found it, I'm not going to say where. So I don't understand the mentality behind that person's thinking here. I personally wish that. I don't understand what you personally gain from that. Let me put it like this: I don't believe Vince McMahon is going to bat an eyelid about this.
Well, he probably won't, but I wonder. I'm unapologetic in my support of WWE. I know I'm critical of the product, but as an overall company, I'm happy with what they do, all the things at the charity, the extra things, and the content on the network. And I think the amount of smart cities is increasing by the year, and especially with how successful the independent stuff was at WrestleMania weekend this year, there's a lot of hate for WWE's product at the moment. It might be rightfully so. It's not really for me to say, because people hate certain things and they're going to stick by that. But these smart fans are becoming more vocal at all the arenas every week now. And look at Roman Reigns as an example. He's getting booed out the building left, right and centre. And I think as we draw closer to All In, as Cody Rhodes is basically becoming the master of the indies, there is an us versus them going on, and it's a shame, because I think it's going to affect more arenas and chants. There's going to be so many chants, and as we get closer to September, people will have a microscope on the product for WWE, and if it's not up to T, where they probably usually have the same level of quality at September, it's just after SummerSlam, nothing major is happening around that time. But if they don't do something big, then it will be seen as a failure because All In's just happened. And I think the sort of support that people have for WWE is fragile right now. And if you've got All In and all the other independent stuff going on at the moment thriving, and fair play to them, it's just going to cause a bigger divide, and there's going to be a lot of hatred between fans, and it's going to cause a lot of carry on. There won't be fights or anything, but it's kind of, I liken it to the Old Firm rivalry in Scotland, Celtic versus Rangers. There's, no matter what happens, people on both sides of the fence are going to hate each other with quite a passion as well, and it's not a seasoned debate anymore. If you've got people on Twitter and whatnot just really angry with what's going on, why be angry about a show selling out?
I think also, like, it goes both ways, in the sense that you can't go around hating on WWE just because you're not a fan of the product. Because just because you're not a fan doesn't mean other people are, and just because other people are and you're not doesn't mean they're wrong or you're right. And the other thing, like, don't go around hating on All In and Cody and everyone that does like it. So, like I say, it's just enjoy whatever it is you like watching. We don't need to like the same things. You don't even need to like the same promotions. You don't even need to like the same type of wrestling. Like, ultimately, that's all what it is. You can say what you want, oh no, WWE is this, and independent Ring of Honor, New Japan, blah blah blah, is something else. But no, ultimately, it's the exact same thing. We're watching professional wrestling. It's just the art form is presented and done differently. That I can't understand the whole us versus them mentality. I don't understand why you would feel that you should alienate another company or just another portion of the fan base just because they may not like what you like.
Mm-hmm.
I say, for me, maybe it's just a simple way of thinking, but why can't you just sit down and just enjoy the quality of matches that several different promotions put on?
Aye.
And what I will say is, look, WWE is not all bad as some people might like to make out. And the independent scene in Ring of Honor, New Japan, all these other places aren't as impeccable or flawless as other people make out as well. Like, they both have good shows. Sometimes in those matches, sometimes have unbelievably great matches, and some might just be like, no, that's not a very good match. So just enjoy what's happening in the wrestling business at the moment, but enough with the hate and just the vitriol and why you feel you need to align yourself with one other company. If you're going to do that, then why not support that company or that brand or those wrestlers or that type of wrestling, as opposed to I'm going to now throw as much dirt and shade on the other company, as opposed to supporting the one you like. You'd rather focus your energy on picking flaws in the other company, and that way you're as if you're showing your loyalty to the opposing, the quote unquote the opposing side.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Monday Night Wars with WWF and WCW was mainly measured, it was merch to a certain extent, merchandise, but it was mainly measured with the Nielsen TV ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously things have changed these days because all these independent companies, they don't get as many ratings as WWE, who themselves don't get as much rating as they used to. But through a different sort of unit of measurement, such as social media interest or merchandise sales, do you think we're seeing a sort of modern day version of the Monday Night Wars?
No. Nope.
Fair enough.
Nope. It's an emphatic no.
Oh well.
I know where you're coming from, and I get it, but let me see. It's like comparing, and I don't mean any kind of disrespect, right? But you're literally trying to compare Manchester United to the WWE with someone like, let me see. Let's just someone like, say, Everton, for instance. I'm probably being generous there when I say Everton, if I'm honest. And for teams, for an American audience that don't really understand it, so it's basically comparing, say, the New England Patriots with, let me see,
Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Sorry, I just felt like doing that there. Because I know
it's
an
like
FML.
it's like comparing the New England Patriots and say someone like the Arizona Cardinals, for instance, who have never won a Super Bowl. So, as great as Ring of Honor, etc., is, you can't really compare it at the moment because
an overall business.
I understand what you're coming from in terms of merch and social media, etc., but the reality is, like, the WWE is the machine, and I get your thinking. I just feel like yeah, we do see Cody, we do see a lot of the, like, being the elite and etc., and the Bullet Club and all these other people. We see them all over YouTube and all over Twitter and stuff and Facebook. But maybe that's because, like,
they can say those things. They are their own boss.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in it's like you said, I said earlier on that ultimately it's the same thing we're watching, but there's so many different rules and regulations that the WWE guys need to adhere to that potentially Cody and everyone else can do what they want, in a sense. So, like I say, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think they're comparable whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Just overall, not just product.
No, like I say, in terms of product exposure, etc., like, WWE is king and will be king for a very, very long time, I think. But like I say, it almost feels like we are shitting on the WWE's competition, but we're not. It's we're being realistic. Like, Vince doesn't see them as competition.
No.
Like, if he did, you would see something along the lines of what took place just when the Monday Night Wars were starting and sort of taking off, and when they were at a peak. He would go off in a different direction. He would change course.
I don't know.
We can say so much, we can say whatever we want about him, but he's not that daft. Like, I think if he saw a genuine threat, he would look to do everything he could possibly can to snuff that threat out. And as of right now, people are still bitching and moaning about, like they have been for about a year now, about WWE storylines. Clearly suggests that Vince hasn't changed his ways and doesn't see anyone as a threat to him.
I don't think he was as impulsive in the first time, the Monday Night Wars. I think he was slow and patient with himself. It just so happened to get the likes of a heel Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin fall into his lap all at the same time. And the stars just aligned. I don't think it was, right, we need to beat them. As far as we're aware from what the likes of Bruce Pritchard and that say, they weren't like all gun, like we need to beat them. They made sure that their stories still made sense and stuff like that, and with that came the success that they got. Yes,
I saw that in the documentary as well, but I think there could be an argument to be made that TNA from round about 04-ish to about 07-ish was probably a bigger threat
than today's indie scene.
Yes.
Oof, that's a bold claim there.
I might not be able to back it up very well, but I think just because at that time, like, maybe they never really saw him as a threat, but back then, like, TNA were putting on, like, excellent stuff. And I think in terms of, like, the indie scene itself, it's what you've just said, the word that you've just said, scene. It's not like it's one company. Like, I understand he can lose some of these guys to the indie scene, but at the end of the day, Vince can pay money that no one else in the wrestling business can. And Samoa Joe sort of said it during the week as well. There's a reason why WWE sort of gobble up these indie guys, because the indie guys aren't getting paid what they should be getting paid, and Vince can pay them.
I don't think that Cody and the Young Bucks see it as a versus WWE thing, because WWE does more than 10,000 twice a week.
I get that, but then why, if you don't think it's versus a WWE thing, then why would you go outside some of their arenas staging a takeover. Maybe you're just doing it to get exposure, but...
Was that specifically with All In mind?
No, remember, was it Anaheim? I think it was Anaheim that done it. Remember when they were outside the arena and it was Cody and it was the Bucks, and there was a big group of fans as well, where they staged their own mini takeover, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they don't have that way of thinking, and maybe why would you do it? But I guess it's a case of, well, it's exposure. I'm not sure, but like I says, I don't think. My bottom line is, I don't think Vince is going to bat an eyelid about All In, and I feel like as fans we're too busy trying to insult other people or just laugh at other people or mock other people who don't watch the same type of wrestling or promotion as you,
mm-hmm.
as if it's a bad thing. Like there isn't a cool thing in wrestling to watch, if you know what I mean. Like if you only watch one specific thing, then that's fine. But if you watch it all, then good for you. If you don't, then good for you as well. Like so I don't understand why there is that kind of us versus them mentality.
You shouldn't be attacked for supporting what you watch.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like I've seen enough people saying, "Oh, fuck WWE." If that's the case, stop watching and stop commenting on them. And I've also saw enough things like, "Oh, I guess I'm not cool because I don't watch indies." You're like, no, like enough. Just enjoy what you're watching. And
see,
if
they really want to make a statement against WWE, then they should actually go through with the cancelling the network and leaving during main events and stuff like that. That's when they'll take notice.
Yeah, and funnily enough, nobody seemed to leave early in London when Roman was at Raw.
That's because Roman was tearing into Big Jinder.
Yeah, or maybe it actually was in New York traffic like some people thought.
Aye. Will we talk about WWE then for a while? Oh, sorry, you're the host tonight.
We didn't want to be negative, and like I said, I feel like we presented enough from both sides there. But overall, like I say, is All In. The actual event will be good, and you're sold out in less than half an hour. Well done. But people need to remember it's just a one-off show. Potentially, that's what they build it as, and
potentially,
potentially, yeah. And we'll see what happens. But let's just enjoy some decent wrestling. But yeah, let's just we'll move on. I know, obviously, Raw was over here in the UK. We'll touch on SmackDown in a moment. There was obviously some qualifying matches as well, and obviously you just alluded to Jinder and Roman. I'll keep that aside for a minute if you don't mind. I just wanted to talk to you, get your thoughts on the Ronda Rousey getting the title shot at Money in the Bank.
Well,
because at first when I saw it, I thought, Nia Jax, just saying I would like to face her. I didn't think it was a case of it's actually going to happen. So, but yeah, on you go. I was kind of surprised, but I'll let you go first.
First of all, anything could happen at an event. It's not set in stone that she'll win. There is every chance of some interference. There's every chance of some sort of weird finish, because we've seen many a weird finish with AJ versus Naka. There is also a chance that Ronda Rousey wins. So seems as, because people seem to think that is what's going to be the inevitable outcome, I'll go with that one. And I was worried at the start, before Ronda even came into WWE proper, that she's going to get hot-shotted and put in front of everyone else. And I enjoyed the WrestleMania match. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it for what the sports entertainment that it was. And it seemed like she was taking a back seat because she was involved with a friendship with Natty. Look, see, there's another thing. She could get screwed over with Natalya. I think that's actually more plausible right now than Ronda immediately winning the title. But again, if Ronda does win the title, and I'm going to take the house show matches in the live circuit she's having with Mickie James over in Europe just now. Apparently she's doing 3 matches with Mickie James. 1 televised match. Still can't act her way out of a paper bag. And she's apparently let's just say she is going to win the title, do you honestly think that's fair on the rest of the division, who work their asses off and have done for so many years now? You've got the likes of Sasha and Bayley wrestling their hearts out every week, and then all this talk about Vince McMahon wanting wrestlers to grab the brass ring, and he just plucks it from their greasy hands and just hands it straight to Rousey because of name value. Her name doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care about UFC. I don't care about the Expendables. She doesn't deserve it.
Right. Okay. Right, so here it is, right. I'll lay out, I'm going to say a few things, right. So, I can't sit here and say, give her the title. Because of what I said last week. I said, I didn't want Carmella having a title because I didn't want to watch sort of matches for the women's title. And I also say is you can't put the title on someone who's still trying to learn and who's still raw. So I have to say that out of principle in this sense as well. You cannot put a title on someone who's had one professional wrestling match. So, but that's not... I don't know how to feel, if I'm honest. I feel like I need to get to Money in the Bank and actually see her winning the title, potentially, and then seeing how I feel at that point. I know it sort of feels like I'm sitting on the fence or I don't want to commit, but it honestly is... So, I just sort of want to wait until Money in the Bank and just sort of... Like, if it happens and she wins the title, I just want to see how I feel at that point. But I understand that what the point I made last week about Carmella, it's valid, and even probably even more valid this week than it was last week. I just, like I said, you can't have quote unquote the top guy. Because ultimately the person with the title is effectively at the top of the food chain. You can't have that person learning on the job. So, I want you, like, kayfabe wise, who is in a position to challenge Nia Jax from a strictly kayfabe angle? Because I don't think there's anyone. And I understand non-kayfabe that people can say, well, Bayley and Sasha Banks have been going on for a while, but maybe that's the whole idea of it. Well, maybe you could have booked Natalya as she came over, and maybe you could have done something different with someone else. You could have put Ember Moon in there a wee bit sooner. I don't know, but strictly kayfabe wise, from everything that's happened on TV, from a pure kayfabe aspect, like, is there anyone?
Aye, there's a couple that I can think of. Is Alexa Bliss still hanging about with Mickie James?
Well, Alexa Bliss has now been beaten twice in a row.
Is she still hanging about with Mickie James, though? Are they still pals?
Mm-hmm. Yep, well, what was last week on Raw, wasn't it? Or the week before, I think it was, when when Mickie attacked Natalya.
So, you've got Mickie... Like, Mickie could have went down the road of, you don't talk to my friend like that, you may have beaten Alexa, but I'm going to take you to town. So, you've got a seasoned veteran in Mickie who might be able to get a more than decent match out of Nia. You've got... I know,
but isn't that kind of like, I've just beaten Batman, so why am I going to take on Robin?
She's fighting for her friend, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
You've got the Riot Squad. Ruby Riot could cause havoc. She is part of a stable, so they can all gang up on Nia, and that's a feasible option because Nia's got 3 girls to attend to deal with. So you're immediately thinking, right, it's not all going to be on Nia's side, the betting odds, so to speak, because there's outside interference at play. That could have been a credible one. She could have done I'm going to offer a title shot to my new best friend, Ember Moon. They could have done Kurt Angle could have got his head out of his arse and said, right, Sasha and Bayley, it's time for you to put your differences aside once and for all. Although you've been sort of left in the sidelines, I do understand you've both put in some hard work, so we're going to have a number one contendership match, just the two of you. The match must finish with a conclusive victory, and the winner will face Nia Jax at the next pay-per-view. Anything but Nia Jax naively saying, yes, I'm going to take on Ronda Rousey, who battered fuck out of Triple H, and I'm going to challenge her to the women's title.
Yeah, like I said, you could have gone down the route, but I think you could have held this match off to at least SummerSlam, because, like we said, we've got you could eat, like I said, you would have Ronda and the Mickie James feud, and in the blow off to that, you could have obviously Natalya turning on Ronda. So that takes up, say, about 7, 8 weeks potentially, and then you're now gearing up towards SummerSlam. I just need to wait until we get sure how it's going to work. I would be so surprised if Ronda doesn't win the title.
So would I.
Even with outside interference, I don't think so. I could maybe see a case like when Natalya turns on Ronda, like maybe a month or so after it, and then they have potentially gone into SummerSlam. It could be them two. But yeah, I'm surprised if she wins it, but I'm also surprised they've done it this early. Like I said, because she's had one professional wrestling match. I understand that you can put as much work as you want behind the scenes and down at Performance Centre, but to get out there in front of a live crowd and in front of that many people and actually doing it live and running through a proper match is different from doing it just sort of like in training. Because when you're behind the scenes, if you mess up something, it's fine because you can try and fix it. But let's say, and it's also that whole aspect of performing under the spotlight as well. Obviously, our history with the UFC will kind of help with that, but still.
Well, it's one match. I can't get past that. It's only been one match, and the people are moaning about the quality of the match between Charlotte and Carmella. Do you think Ronda's going to carry Nia to a decent match and vice versa? I don't think so. That's going to be one rubbish match. That won't be easy to watch at all.
It really depends how they book it, and then ultimately how they
There's no better experience than having plenty of TV time or even house show matches, but specifically TV time, because you've got to take into account all the referee's telling you to lie down for another 5 seconds so the camera can zoom in on you selling. Needs to take all that stuff into account. She needs more practice, and the only way she would have got that properly was if she would have tagged with Natalya for a couple of months, even if they're not on pay-per-view, and tagged against some bad girls or whatever, and then Natalya sort of does the screw job and they fight each other. Natalya, not my favourite, but she's skilled and experienced enough to be able to help Ronda learn the ropes as it happens and do well with that. But to put her in a title match and possibly have her win the title, when apart from the Be a Star campaign nonsense, I thought Nia was doing a good job. But they're just going to say, nah, let's just give it to Ronda instead, who's been in the door for 5 minutes, because she likes it. She likes wrestling. I
think obviously we saw at Backlash that the crowd already started turning on her after that speech.
Not her fault.
So yeah, exactly, and I'm wondering if maybe they're just going to go ahead and turn her again, but I wouldn't. I think she's done alright as a face, and there's nothing wrong with a face versus face.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes heel versus heel, it can be fine. Like I said, it's difficult to get the whole she's only had one match out of your head, and like you say, in that match, like because it was a tag match, you can still sort of hide someone, and she wasn't exposed too much either, which was a good thing at the time. But she's now going to be exposed, and she is now literally been thrown into the wolves, and let's see if she can sink or swim. I probably wouldn't have done it. In fact, I wouldn't have done it this quick. I actually thought she wasn't going to hold a title, if I'm honest, until next year, because I thought they would probably go Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, because I thought Ronda would eventually win in the Royal Rumble. But I'm more intrigued if they do put a title on her, how are they going to book her with the title? And I know this is not a conversation for today, this is for one for post Money in the Bank, but I'm intrigued if they do go down that route of giving her a title, how they go about booking her after it.
Aye, I'm not really wanting to, as you say, that's another conversation for another day, because I just don't think she'll be able to hack it. She's not ready. She's not ready. I know she's had a fun match at WrestleMania, but that's all, one match, and the rest have just been segments where she beats people up, but she's not done the selling or anything like that. Even when she did sell, when Triple H slammed her through a table, she looked like someone had stolen her candy or something like that. It was woeful.
And that's it, like, she is just naturally would be much better as a heel.
Exactly.
Because in the UFC she came across as, like, I don't want to say just like not a very nice person or not very likeable, but she just came across as someone you might find it difficult to root for. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of probably putting that nicely, if I'm honest, but it says this whole smiling and being protective of other people, that's going to come to an end at some point, because she'd be such a good heel.
I think it would be quite interesting if it was her that turned on Natty.
Yeah, that would be.
See,
everyone... I mean, I like Natalya, so face or heel, I'm a big fan of hers. So that would definitely be something different, because everyone seems to think it's going to be Natalya turning on, and I'm one of them. But that would be something that would definitely be different.
I just think that they're, with this possibly happening, that they're jeopardising the credibility of the women's division right now, just because she's not ready. And if I just wanted to touch on the SmackDown women's main event scene for a second, since we're on that tangent.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised at my reason for this. The Asuka Carmella match that's been announced for Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so obviously last week I was going on about Carmella and I got quite a bit of heat for that. Fair enough. I understand why. It's just I feel that she's been booked well. We're not supposed to think she's a good wrestler because she got a mutant to help her win the briefcase at Money in the Bank last year. Her gimmick has always been that she needs help, so I don't mind how she's been booked. She's annoying. She's doing her job well. Anyway, apart from that, out of nowhere, Asuka, who's done nothing on SmackDown, absolutely nothing on SmackDown, gets a title shot. Based on reputation alone, she does deserve it, but storyline wise, it does seem to have come out of nowhere. What my worry is, see if Asuka wins, fine. See if she doesn't, and Carmella retains, people are going to be absolutely furious. And that's not going to help the people that are on the fence at the moment with this anti-WWE stuff. It's already fragile, that relationship. And people were very angry that Carmella retained against Charlotte. How do you think they're going to react against Asuka? Against Carmella, the thing mean with Asuka?
So I know what I said last week, so I'm going to almost sort of contradict myself. Let's just say, maybe that's the idea, that they want to piss off people, that she had her beat Charlotte, then potentially beat Asuka, and then let's just say she beats Becky Lynch after that. Maybe it's just to piss people off, because that's the kind of character she is. She's not a likeable character. You want to hit her yourself. Not that I'm condoning men hitting women or anything, but you understand where I'm coming from. Like, you just want someone to just beat her up. So maybe that's what they're going with. They just want people just to absolutely despise her.
Aye, there's a Vicky Guerrero about her.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know how I'm going to react if she beats Asuka clean.
I will hide under my pillows and say, oh shit, here we go. So
yeah, like, again, I'll ask you again, kayfabe sense, who should get a title shot?
Well, kayfabe wise, I don't think it makes much sense, because Carmella hasn't done anything massively wrong for Paige to just come out and say, yeah, I'm going to feed you to Asuka. Asuka's been pretty, not absent, but didn't correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Asuka make her intentions clear last week in one of those selfie videos that she was going to be in Money in the Bank?
we're not supposed to remember week to week stuff.
That's my point. Why should we not? It's like, yeah, I'm going to compete in Money in the Bank. In fact, scrap that. You're just going to get a title shot anyway.
But I can't remember. I don't know if she said if she's going to compete in Money in the Bank match, or she just said I'm going to compete in Money in the Bank.
Oh well.
But like I said, kayfabe, like, I don't think there is anyone you can say, from a kayfabe aspect, this person definitely deserves to get a title shot, because there isn't anyone that stands out. Like, I understand like Becky Lynch and stuff, but kayfabe sense, what the hell's Becky Lynch done recently?
Apart from qualifying last night, nothing really. But sometimes those are the ones that you need to watch out for. Carmella hadn't done much for nearly a year, and then she won the title. So I think they've got a history as well. Becky Lynch and Carmella go way back, especially with James Ellsworth involved. They've got a history there.
I say it's one of those ones now where I just need to. It just depends how they go about booking this match, and ultimately who wins and how they win. Because if you're going to beat Charlotte Queen, then you have to beat Asuka Queen, you would imagine.
Pecking order wise, yep. So I'm just worried that there's going to be another backlash with this one, and it's going to tarnish SmackDown's credibility, because the superstar shake-up, everyone was going on about how this is SmackDown's loaded, but there's nothing standout happening at the moment, and that's us being a month removed now.
Mm-hmm.
Am I being a bit impatient there?
I think you're going to start to see stuff now, though. I think they had to get Backlash out of the way, and now they're gearing towards Money in the Bank. And now, because now I thought, once Backlash was out of the way, you would start to see other storylines develop, but now the storylines are developing for Money in the Bank, so you might need to wait until post Money in the Bank before we really start to delve into other stuff. Like, they're doing a good job so far of holding off the Miz and Daniel Bryan, for instance, but you know, like I said, some of these storylines will start to come through after Money in the Bank, and then once Money in the Bank's done, you'll have that whole potential year-long storyline of when this person might cash in as well.
Speaking of Daniel Bryan, sorry to interrupt, Big Cass must be in the shithouse.
No, I don't know.
Oh, he's been embarrassed by Daniel Bryan twice now.
But it's Daniel Bryan. Like, let's not forget that. I understand they want to play up the whole "you're small and I'm big and blah blah blah, I'm bigger and stronger and etc. than you." But at the end of the day, it's Daniel Bryan, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and you need to give, from a storyline point of view, depending on where you're going to go with it, you still need to give Daniel Bryan those moments as well. So, Cass, I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do, because obviously you'd imagine this is going to lead to another match at Money in the Bank, because I know Cass has got the match next week against Samoa Joe, so I would imagine Joe to win that. I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe Daniel Bryan came down and pretended to get involved or something like that, just to annoy Cass that little bit more. But I think they'll have another match at Money in the Bank.
Oh, how about this? Daniel Bryan's obviously got a bit of a temper on him with Big Cass at the moment. Daniel Bryan's out, right? He won't be in Money in the Bank, fair enough. But what if, is it just Big Cass and Samoa Joe? Just the two of them in a match?
Just the two of them.
Right, so some fantasy booking for you. What if Daniel Bryan's fed up with Big Cass, even though he keeps beating Big Cass when it matters the most? Big Cass keeps putting in his cheeky words, and then Daniel Bryan has enough, because during the match Big Cass is like slagging him off or something like that, and Daniel Bryan comes down and attacks Big Cass, which means that he wins from disqualification, and Samoa Joe's angry with Daniel Bryan. Samoa Joe is a very good heel, but he's getting cheered in the process. What better to get him booed than to attack Daniel Bryan after the match? So you've got, for maybe not Money in the Bank, but SummerSlam or something like that, Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe.
No.
Oh, right. Okay then.
No, I'm joking. I like the idea and I like the thinking behind it. It's just that I would rather just sort of play this, get rid of this Daniel Bryan Cass storyline, because I think you can give Daniel Bryan Joe later on in the year. I don't want to get it straight away. So, and also I want Joe in the Money in the Bank match. I don't want Cass in that Money in the Bank match at all. Because I think if Joe's in it, then there's a real good chance that I might pick Joe to win it. I think it probably will be Miz that wins it, but if Joe's in it, then I think there's a good chance he might win that match. And like I say, I just don't want Big Cass in that match at all.
Well, if he's not in that match, then I think we can answer the question that he's not getting this big push that he was supposedly getting. And if he was, and he did say something backstage or did something that Vince didn't agree with, then his push has been quashed. Would you say so?
Yeah, it just kind of depends what push they had in mind, and that's something we might never know. I'm like I say, we both not a fan of him, so if this supposed push doesn't happen, then I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Nah, neither am I. I'll sleep better actually.
Just sort of going back to Raw, is there anything else that stuck out? I know we'll be hitting on Seth and KO later on, but is there anything else on Raw that stuck out you want to speak about?
A couple of months ago, Sami Zayn, along with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn was the heel of the moment, and he was getting rightfully booed when, upon his return from a medical retirement, he attacked Daniel Bryan, and he was a big heel. Now he is involved in a storyline where he's going to bring, what's that guy's name?
Bobby fucking Lashley's sister to Raw.
That is absolutely horrendous.
Like, did I miss something, right? But when the fuck did this become a storyline with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley? I thought that match at Backlash, that was it. And now suddenly we're getting Sami Zayn up against Bobby Lashley. Lashley already feels another guy.
See, I'm going to put this out there, he always was another guy.
Probably, but I just sort of felt like I'd give the guy a chance, clean slate, because I wasn't a fan, like I say, in his first run, so I'll see what he does now, but don't really care.
And I'm not really looking forward to meeting his sister either, unless Sami Zayn brings a fake sister in. I can see them doing that, actually. They'll bring in a fake sister.
Yeah, I
think they're just going to use him as a comedy act again, instead of being the big arse heel that he can be.
Yeah, so I just don't know why we're getting this feud or where they're going with it. I just get it over and done with, like. And it's a shame because it literally seems like you don't have anything significant for Sami, because KO's now in the Money in the Bank match, but Sami isn't. So it's almost like we're back to where we were 2 years ago.
But there's still that thing going on with Lashley and that. Kevin Owens is still involved in that.
Did we really care about it in the first place, though? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, not in the slightest, no.
I just think the less said about Bobby Lashley at the moment, the better. I think in terms of Raw. So yeah, there's a couple of things we obviously want to talk about, but why don't we just do a quick lightning round in terms of just a few things we liked on Raw and SmackDown as well? Like
Ross Geller's lightning round?
Exactly like Ross Geller's lightning round.
Okay.
The lightning round!
As Jim Cornette would say, Ross Geller is a heel. Anyway. Right, so just go through a few of the things and we'll quickly discuss them before we move on to the closers of the show.
So we'll stick to Raw for a second. Seth and KO, your thoughts?
Another excellent match. Wasn't as good as the Miz one. There was a that's easy for me to say, a familiarity between the two. It was almost as if they were going on autopilot and there wasn't much emotion or anything, if that makes sense. I mean, it was a really good match, very well sequenced, really well laid out, but it's as if they didn't even have to think about it, and that came across to me. So in Seth Rollins' last couple of months, it's not my best match, but it was still the better match, probably the best match over the couple of nights of Raw and SmackDown. Yeah,
like I thought it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. The Falcon Arrow on the apron was just absolutely sickening.
That was excellent.
I might be slightly higher on the match than you are. I'm not saying that you didn't, like you said, it's not that you didn't like it. I thought it was a really good match, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was good.
So moving on. Roman Reigns, it seemed like, was beating up Jinder all night long. They had the fake wall where they speared him through that. They opened up the show with it as well. So yeah, poor Jinder took an absolute beating. But that's just been in line with what Roman's been pretty much from day one, where he just kicks the shit out of whoever he's in a feud with or who he's facing. So I must admit, I enjoy some of those. I enjoy some of that. I enjoy the spear, even if it was through the fake drywall, whatever kind of wall it was. But yeah, I thought it was all sort of kind of funny in a sense, where he was just, like I say, it just seemed like he was beating him up all night long.
Two things about that. One thing that made me laugh out loud was, I was reading it, because it was being recorded earlier in the UK, it was just someone in Lords of Pain was putting up the results just quickly as bullet points so people could catch the major talking points if they wanted to, and it was talking about a match, and then it said Roman Reigns is beating up Jinder again, and that was the end of the paragraph, and it just moved on. But the other thing... No,
it did sort of seem almost comical when you were texting me as well, but in a good way, I think.
But this is not babyface behaviour at all, is it?
No, like in this... And I feel like we called this a lightning round, but it feels like now we're going to start talking about Roman. It's not going to be a lightning round, but Roman's not a babyface. Let's just get that straight. He is not a babyface. It's not possible to turn someone heel who isn't a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. But I think we should move on, because we can have that discussion later another day.
It's just his actions. I know there's anger, but that's just ridiculous.
His actions warrant the booze that he's getting.
His actions warranted the UK Marshals.
Strathclyde Police.
What, down in London?
Should have been called. Scotland Yard should have been called to the O2 Arena.
Mm-hmm. And brought him down, cuffed him.
Yep. Right, so moving on. I enjoyed KO, Elias, and Bobby Lashley, I must admit. I quite enjoyed that. There was a moment in the ring where Elias shouted at KO, they're walking with me, and then KO I think said something like, I don't care or I hate you, and then they started attacking each other. I found that quite good. I enjoyed that match. So KO's now in the Money in the Bank. So how many have we got for the Money in the Bank so far? Is it 5?
6, I'm sure.
Is it 6?
Because you've got Samoa Joe and Cass. Oh, I'm sure I saw a picture, I can't remember. It's all happened very quickly, and it's hard to keep count of who's in it.
So on the Raw side, it's KO. I can't remember.
Braun.
Yep. And who else was Bobby Roode?
So.
And then from SmackDown, it is The Miz and Rusev.
And one member of the New Day,
which we don't know who that will be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be Kofi or some sort of, because I kind of hope it's Big E, if I'm honest.
Well,
but I have a feeling it could be Kofi
because of the whole ladder thing.
Yeah, but I mean, Big E's excellent.
Well, there's been rumours that he'll be getting a big push, but that's the whole rumour mill again.
Yep. So that's all I've got to say from the Raw side. SmackDown, if the Usos and the Bar, if what their little match they had on SmackDown, if that's anything to go by, I'm ready to see a fully fledged feud with those two. I thought it was a good match as well. When it was getting announced, or what the concept was, a part of me seemed to think, wait, they're going to do a tag team title match, but obviously, sorry, a tag team Money in the Bank, but obviously they explained the rules behind it. But I enjoyed that match. I thought the sequence, the ending was quite good as well. So like I say, I'm hoping it's going to be Big E. It's going to be in that Money in the Bank match.
Mm-hmm. One thing about the tag team scene on SmackDown, I'm starting to think that Bludgeon Brothers winning the titles was a bad idea, because unless there is a possibility of Sanity calling out Bludgeon Brothers, because Bludgeon Brothers, I keep saying who wants to play, looks to me like they've not actually got any plans for the Bludgeon Brothers at the moment. So they've not got plans for the WWE, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That doesn't sound very good to me.
And like I says, we're still what are we, like 4 weeks on Sunday, I think we are from Money in the Bank. It's still plenty of time for Sanity to answer the call, and then post Money in the Bank we've still got the Bar in there as well. So there's a couple of feuds there to keep us going to SummerSlam.
I still think there should always be a programme with the champions involved at all times.
Maybe this is just it. Maybe they're just like, because like I say, we had 6 weeks, I think it was, between Backlash and Money in the Bank, or 5 weeks or whatever it is. So there's still plenty of time. There's still at least 3 or 4 more SmackDowns to build up a potential Sanity versus Bludgeon Brothers feud.
Mm-hmm. I think
so I wouldn't worry too much just now if I was you.
With regards to Sanity, for anyone who's not really paid much attention to the sort of fringe sides of things, I know Eric Young's good and Killian Dane's making a real good name for himself, but keep an eye out for Alexander Wolf. I think he's been a well kept secret. I think he's excellent wrestler. He's quite the suplex machine, and he's a dab hand in the ring, so I think he's one to keep an eye out for in terms of just overall quality.
Moving on, we finally saw the debut of Mr. Andrade CM Almas. I did see something that you says. I'll let you explain what you said and your thought behind it if you want.
What was my thought?
You basically says that, are they going to go down this sort of jobber route with Almas?
Oh, right,
or do we not have something planned for him, etc.?
Well, it's worked for a few people in the past, where basically they have a wrestler who goes through all the local talent they can find. Braun Strowman, Nia Jax did it a couple of years ago, and it's worked to varying levels of success for other people. I'm not sure if I'm happy with it happening for Andrade Cien Almas, but if they're just going to have him going a mini winning streak and beating all this talent, showing how good he is, then I'm willing to be patient, because whether we like it or not, all these NXT call-ups, there's not really got many plans for a lot of the NXT call-ups. From the top of my head, the Iconics are the only one that came in with that made an impact, and they had some sort of storyline made up for them. Authors of Pain have got nothing going. Ember Moon, not really. No way Jose.
She went straight into the Money in the Bank though, so.
No,
and she beat Sasha and.
I wouldn't say that's straight in though.
I mean, she came in and she teamed up with the WWE Women's Champion, and then a couple of weeks later she was in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank. But I think, like, so maybe you might not agree with this, but do you not think maybe when Zelina Vega took the microphone and says, "This is it. This is what you had lined up for," is like, we don't get anything else. There's no, like, basically saying, where the hell's the competition? Do you not think that maybe they're going to go down the route of just a couple more weeks, giving them jobbers, ultimately where someone answers the call, someone like a Randy Orton or a Jeff Hardy, or, you know, someone in the mid card? I think they might be going down this route, where I think there was a reason why Zelina Vega took the microphone and said what she said.
Probably. I mean, as I say, I'm willing to be patient. The reason I went off in all the call-ups there is because, as well as last year as well, they've not got plans for all of these call-ups. That's quite evident. So I'm willing to be patient, because I think eventually his talent will shine through. I'd much rather it was Jeff Hardy than Randy Orton. I'm fed up with Randy Orton. I don't want to see him again. So,
and that's the thing. Like what you say there, his talent, right? I says, like, after the match he had with Aleister Black and stuff, I says that this was before Seth Rollins started tearing up week after week. Really, he was doing it for a while. Actually, sorry. For me, I would put Almas in the same sentence as AJ Styles now. I think he's that damn good. And I think that's the difference between him and some other call-ups that have come up. Like, he is just that damn good. And for me, there's no real rush to throw him right into a title picture, but I do think you will. I think they are leading into giving him a decent feud, because, like I said, I find it hard to believe that what Zelina Vega says, it wasn't said like for a reason.
I think the US title scene is a good shout, because one of Jeff Hardy's strengths, due to his general sort of hotness as a babyface, is he's good at getting heels over. So I think it could work. That could be a good rivalry. I know Jeff Hardy seems to be a bit banged up at the moment. Whispers of him actually being injured. If he stays fit enough to have a programme with Almas, get the title onto him straight away and go on a dominant run, I'd be all for that. Just mow through the division.
Here's the thing, Almas is only 28 years old as well. So he's just a baby, really. He's a young guy.
He is, in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. So finally, if we just want to finish up with... Well, a good thing was I actually thought they weren't going to put Becky Lynch in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm glad she is. So I was scared for a bit that I didn't think they were going to put her in it. I think now that she is in it, there's a chance she could win it. Hopefully, maybe, you don't know. But I didn't think they were going to have her win. But like I said, it was nice to see that.
I'm not sure if that will be. I'm not got enough faith in creative to think like two birds with one stone. So I don't think that Becky will win the briefcase, but I do think that she won that just to further the story between Paige and the Absolution girls. I think that's what all that was about. Yep,
makes sense. And like I said, because we talked about Money in the Bank there, Alexa Bliss better not win that damn Money in the Bank. So finally, we got AJ Naka for the 20th time in the last week. Obviously your prediction didn't come true, but thoughts on the match and this potential stipulation?
Yes, the shackles seemed to be off for this match. I think they were, I don't know if it was literally a case of Vince wasn't there, Vince didn't come over to the UK or something like that, but the shackles were off. They had a more free-flowing match. Naka showed a bit more edge again, with a bit more high impact moves and some sort of pretty vicious kicks. I did prefer it to the other ones. I don't think it was the best match over the two nights. I still think that went to Seth and Kevin Owens, but it was still the better match that they've had. And to have a definitive finish with Nakamura pulling an Eddie Guerrero on everyone was nice to see as well. That he's not just got the hit someone in the balls in his arsenal, he's got the making out as if he's been hitting the balls, so his heel game has been upped again and he's cheated to advance. Stipulation, I don't know if they need a stipulation on a Money in the Bank pay-per-view unless they make this a ladder match as well. But
yeah, I mean the ladder match would negate the whole no DQ, no countdown stuff as well.
It would. That, I mean, you'd hinted at a last man standing match before, but that would be pointless because they've already fallen to 10 before together.
That's why I thought they would do no DQ, falls count anywhere, or no DQ, someone has to win by submission and pinfall, like no countouts and stuff like that as well. The actual match, I enjoyed the match as well. The finish was excellent, I thought, because I can't remember the last time we saw a finish like that, where someone faked the injury, like that classic heel attitude Eddie Guerrero type tactics. So
it was nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed that overall match. In terms of what the stipulation might be, the ladder match, yeah. I mean, it would be the question: is it not going to be overkill with 3 ladder matches on the pay-per-view? But it's definitely going to be. I think it could either be a ladder match or it will be like no DQ, falls count anywhere, no count out sort of thing, where you will get a definitive winner this time, and I think that will be the end of the feud.
One thing I would see, that reverse exploder suplex. Wow, that's
it was excellent.
That's such a good move.
Beautiful.
That.
So that wraps up the lightning round. It wasn't very lightning, but I mean, we hit on a few subjects, but I think we got through them quite quickly. Right, folks, we spoke about this in quite a bit of detail, me and Clive. So we're actually going to try out a new segment. Now, the segment might come on every week, or it could be every other week, or it could just be whenever we feel like doing it. So what the segment itself, it's we got the inspiration from the Wrestling Square Circle Facebook page. Every Saturday they put up a thread, and it's called Shoot Saturday. So we sort of get the inspiration from that, because in that thread it's basically everyone sort of either venting or just expressing how they're happy with, how happy they are with something. It should just, whatever you feel, just put it into that thread, and it's where people voice a lot of opinions. So we're not disrespecting, we're not trying to laugh at it. We're not calling that thread out. We just got inspired by it, because a lot of people put things in that and put things on Twitter that you might like. Oh, I'm not sure if I agree with that sort of thing. So like I say, this is not us shooting on that thread whatsoever. We are really inspired from it, if I'm being honest. So what it's called is, it's called Wait a Minute Wednesday. So the Wednesday obviously being because we record on a Wednesday. So if you don't mind, Clive, I have a narrative that I saw on Facebook and Twitter now for a good couple of weeks, for a good long time actually. If you don't mind if I go first.
On you go.
The narrative being, right, that that you are forced, or if you don't agree with some people's thinking on what you should be watching and what you shouldn't, and how storylines and etc. developing, and the Roman Reigns one is a perfect example of that. So for me, when people are pushing their opinions on other people so hard that this other person sort of ultimately agrees with them, I find that's happening far too much these days. And so for me, I really don't agree with it. So I've got to say, Clive, wait a minute Wednesday. So for me, like, why on earth, like, for me, and I understand it, like, why can't you just look at something and enjoy it and just take it for what it is? Why can't you just allow it to take you on a roller coaster and just sort of come to a conclusion with yourself? And for the people that feel like they know it all, why do you feel the need to force your opinions on other people so hard, just to sort of, because you don't have the same belief as them, you feel like, no, I'm right, so this is what's happening, and everyone else must feel that way. What I will say is, a good friend of ours, and he's been on the show, Rance, wrote an absolutely excellent column for thechairshot.com. It was fear-mongering wrestling, and it's absolutely perfect what he's written, so I definitely implore everyone to go on and have a look at that. But my main point being just that, why do people feel the need to just enforce their opinions on other people, and why can't you just accept that some people might not agree with you? Like, we don't have to like the same thing, we like different things, but some people, that's not enough for some people. Some people feel the need to have their opinions heard and their opinion only. Do you see where I'm coming from?
You're sounding quite angry right now.
It's just, look, there's some people out there that feel like their opinion is more valuable than other people's, and if you don't agree with it, then you're wrong. You're flat out wrong, and I'm not even willing to listen to the other side of the argument.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree, but you did touch on that earlier when we were talking about All In, I suppose.
Exactly. So I feel like it's, I've said it so many times, wrestling is subjective. Like, just come to your own conclusions, just let your imagination sometimes run wild, and just enjoy whatever it is you like, and just enjoy and take from wrestling what you want to take from it. Don't allow other people to force their opinions and their beliefs onto you. It's just, like I said, it's happening so much. And I'm not saying it's coming from one side, or it's coming from this side, or it's coming from only one specific audience, or part of the audience, or everyone's doing it. And I understand, so I'm basically here to sort of say, like, And I understand what I'm about to say sort of contradicts my point, because my point is stop listening to other people, enjoy wrestling, and just, you know, like...
Stop listening to other people apart from the Social Suplex podcast network.
Exactly, like, just enjoy whatever it is you enjoy watching, and don't allow other people to influence what you want or what you don't like. So, look, man, just sit down, watch the wrestling and enjoy it, and just allow yourself to be sort of like taken away with it, and stop sometimes even just overthinking things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I say, I just wanted to get it off my chest. I feel like I say, it's coming far too frequent now where someone has a different opinion from someone else, but this person A feels if they need to force their opinion onto person B and ultimately make them agree or cloud their judgment.
And if person B retaliates to person A thinks he's an arsehole. Yes.
Yeah, or, you know, or doesn't understand it, or doesn't appreciate wrestling, or because they may not like what they like. It's subjective. We all like different things. We watch wrestling for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. I have a pretty short one. I'm talking about my instalment for this part of the segment. I'm not talking about anything else that Joey Ryan would be jealous of. This tweet is...
Go on.
Why do we still live in an era where the UK television broadcasts are taped? WWE. Why can't these be broadcast live to viewers on Sky Sports WWE? These are the Twitter handles. Why can't these be broadcast live to viewers on Sky Sports, and then American fans can watch either live on USA Network or at the original slot where the show would air live normally? Wait a minute. Wednesday. Is it USA?
Yeah. Well, what else is it?
The network, I mean.
Oh, I thought you meant the country. Yeah, it is.
Basically, apart from the general fan base, the WWE audience, Vince has got a boss, and that boss is USA. They tell him what they can do and what they can't. They tell him when they can go on. I mean, USA wanted them to work on fucking Christmas Day and New Year's Day, for God's sake. They're not... Sky Sports are a subsidiary. They're not the... They don't determine what WWE do, how many times a week. So, while I understand your plight, because I am from the UK and I have to deal with watching programmes at ungodly hours, but that's one of those things, you just have to live with it and move on. Or move to America, whichever one, but that's not going to change. There we go.
It's kind of unfortunate it's not going to change.
It is unfortunate, and
at the end of the day, American ratings is king. Like, that, it's an American-based company, it's an American company, so obviously it's going to be tailored to that audience and that network's audience. We understand that, but like I say, from a pure selfish point of view, like it would be damn nice if we got a pay-per-view over here, or even though you said if the Raw and SmackDown went out live. Like, I understand like the massive, like such a big time difference, because even if Raw airs at say 8 o'clock live over here, East Coast time, that's 3 p.m. where everyone's working.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why they do it, but it would be nice though if we eventually did maybe get a pay-per-view. And I know Triple H said on Sky Sports News a few weeks back that we will get a pay-per-view at some point. Like, I don't even care. I don't care if it's WrestleMania, Royal Rumble or SummerSlam. Just a pay-per-view would be excellent.
Mm-hmm. It would be good.
And it would be nice if it was up in Glasgow as opposed to down in London.
It would be nice if it was in Dumbarton Town Hall.
Just me, you there, and wrestles.
Uh-huh. Like one of us shouts, "Let's go Cena," and the other one shouts, "Cena sucks."
No, so yeah, I think I can see where you're both coming from, but like I say, from a selfish point of view, it would be nice if we didn't have to stay up till stupid o'clock watching pay-per-views, and it would be even nicer if we somehow managed to get a live pay-per-view over here as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes I sort of have a wee chuckle to myself when there's people moaning about saying they have to stay up till 11:30 on a Sunday to watch a pay-per-view. It's like, well, I've not got much sympathy.
We stay up till like something.
We either stay up
4, half 4, and then go to work for 7 o'clock in the morning with 2 hours sleep.
We either stay up till stupid o'clock or we wake up at stupid o'clock. It's either or.
Yeah, to watch it before we go to work. Yep.
And then we're moaning about it on Twitter at 7:30.
And to each other. Yeah, so folks, that was the debut segment of Wait a Minute Wednesday. Hopefully you can give us some feedback whether you liked it or not.
We may need to tweak that because it was just a brainstorm within the last day or so.
So like I say, it was just something we just had a couple of things we wanted to sort of vent about and sort of get off our chest, and we just thought that was a good way of doing it and adding a nice new wrinkle to the show. But if we can get some feedback, if you don't mind, it will be taken on board. So, I don't have anything else to add, I don't think. If you want to move on to the quiz.
Yep. See, just before we do that, I do have one thing I'd like to talk about. A few of you on the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group and on Twitter and on Instagram and stuff like that, and just general friends are aware that we are doing a special NXT episode on June the 6th, I think it is, where we'll basically be looking at the upcoming 20th NXT TakeOver, which will be taking place in Chicago. And you'll find it in the show notes on your podcast app when you've downloaded this episode. There will be a link there that takes you to a survey. In that survey, it will ask you questions like favourite takeover, favourite male champion, favourite female champion, some daft questions like what's your favourite entrance music and stuff like that. So we've got a good few responses so far. Hopefully we can get more responses and collate overall consensus, and we'll discuss those findings on that episode. Hopefully we're hoping that will just be NXT only discussion that night. So we'll look at the findings from the survey and preview the upcoming Chicago takeover as well. So I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully you can contribute. That's all I was wanting to say about that one.
Obviously now we're going to move on to the quiz, but I just want to quickly, one last point, sorry. When you were talking about, I should have said it when you were talking about the UK shows. Folks, see when the WWE come back over in, I think they're back over November. For everyone that goes to a Raw show, please cheer Roman. Because if we cheer Roman, right, A, because he's great in the ring, we should be cheering him anyway, but B, Vince will hear the cheers and be like, I want to go back there, and he might give us the pay-per-view, or he might just even move the headquarters over here. Win-win situation for us, folks.
Good luck with that one, Ricky.
Yeah, right, so let's move on to the quiz. So...
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
It is one of your favourites. I will be doing it is a Who Am I?
Fantastic.
So I have six questions, 6 Who Am I's. So here we go. Number 1. I am a one-time Intercontinental Champion.
Okay.
I am a 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion.
Okay.
I am a one-time NXT Tag Team Champion. And before you take a guess, this week I'm only giving you 3 clues just to make it slightly harder.
A one-time NXT Tag Team Champion.
And a 2-time WWE Champion and a 1-time Intercontinental Champion.
Did you say 2-time WWE Champion?
Tag Team Champion, yeah.
Tag Team, right. Oh, that's a toughie. I thought it was going to be Roman Reigns at first, but that's not the case, is it? No. Tag Team. I mean, I set up that survey just recently. I know all the names of the tag teams in NXT. Fuck's sake. Pass.
Luke Harper.
Luke Harper. Right.
So his, I think one of them was remember when Randy and Bray held the titles?
Yes.
They done like any two of the 3 could defend it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Question number 2. I am a 4-time WCW Cruiserweight Champion.
Okay.
I have held 3 titles in ECW. Not
Easy.
necessarily the same 3, but it could be any 3.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay? And the final one is... Oh, sorry. Here we go. I am a 2-time WWF light heavyweight champion.
I am Tajiri.
Wrong.
Thought so.
Would you like... I'll give you one more clue if you like. I can make it up on the spot. I know it already.
Okay.
I debuted in the WWE, and I came in as part of a group.
Oh, fuck. No, I've not got it at all. Pass.
Mr. Dean Malenko.
Big Dino.
Dean Malenko. Number 3. I appeared in a Royal Rumble while I was still in NXT. I am a 1-time NXT champion.
Right.
I am currently on SmackDown.
Andre Dalmas.
Yes, correct. Okay. I debuted in March 2002.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have won both a Royal Rumble and a King of the Ring.
Okay.
I have won both the IWGP heavyweight title and any version of a WWE title.
I am Brock Lesnar.
Fuck Brock.
Fuck Brock indeed.
Okay. I was in NXT, but I never win any sort of title. Keyword being I was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have been on both brands since the split.
Mm-hmm.
I am a 4-time WWE champion.
Ah, you're making that up, whoever it is.
Not at all.
NXT, that they didn't win anything. Both brands. 4-time. Have 4 times. Daniel Bryan? Is it Daniel Bryan?
Partly because he's not been on the boat. No, he's not been on both brands since the split.
Oh, since the split? Oh, I don't have a clue then.
I am currently on Raw.
A four-time WWE champion that's currently on Raw.
It's not what you're thinking. So think the opposite of what you're thinking.
Oh, Alexa Bliss.
Yes. I didn't want to put women's champion because I thought that would give it away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Now, I would appreciate if you let me tell you all 3 clues, but if you after 1 or 2 clues you can guess. But just let me finish it, right? I am a 1-time United States champion.
Okay.
I'm a 1-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Or W.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do you know it?
No.
Okay, here we go. Final clue. My nipples are so big that they look like cows' udders.
Well, you can get treatment for that, Ricky, if that's something that's really bothering you.
Not at all. Not in the slightest.
Is this a joke we've had recently?
I mean, just put the image of a cow's udder in your head and what does it look like?
My nipple...
I mean, I've said it before to you. Sorry?
The name escapes me entirely. US champ, 1-time. 1-time?
Yep.
1-time WWE champ, and they've got big nipples.
He's held both of he's held both of these titles in the last 12 months.
Does Kevin Owens get big nipples?
Or no. Kevin Owens has been a world champion the last 12 months.
No.
Or a US? Was he? It was, because he was having stuff with AJ.
I don't know. I can't remember.
He is currently on Raw, still being beaten around the O2 Arena as we speak.
Oh, Jinder's nipples, that's right.
Fuck's sake. And that is your 6 for the week.
That was a poor effort from me tonight, I have to say.
What did you get? You got 2?
I think so,
No, 3,
aye.
3. You got 3. You got Brock, Almas and Alexa Bliss.
It felt like I got a lot less.
You started off poorly.
I did.
And ended poorly. So, that is the conclusion of the quiz and thus bringing an end to the show. So before you do any shout outs, I'll just quickly shout out a few things if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, we implore you to check out the Social Suplex website. We have plenty of content on there. We've got plenty of columns and a lot of there's several podcasts on there as well. We have One Nation Radio / One Nation Live as with Rich Latta. We have Outsider's Edge with Rance and Carl. We have Keepin It Strong Style, with Joshua and Jeremy. We have the Wrestling Wash with Caleb, and we have a brand new show which I believe debuted. Was it last week? I believe it was.
Yep.
A new indie show called Grown Men Watch This Shit. So yeah, guys, please check out all the columns, download all the podcasts that's available on Podbean, Apple, TuneIn Radio and Stitcher. And as Clive always says every week, please rate and review our podcast and all podcasts on the network. Continue sharing our content, continue sharing the name, keep downloading. We appreciate the support, and long may it continue.
You did a far better plug than I ever do, so fair play to you there.
Oh, sorry, also please join the Wrestling Square Circle on Facebook as well. You can find myself and Clive on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter, we're at Ricky and Clive. I also would like to no, that was all. Sorry, I've got both plugs in there, so yeah. The floor is yours now.
First of all, congratulations, shout out to yourself for hosting tonight. I think you did a fine job. As I said there,
average.
You've done better than I have with the plug, so you've got points there. I do apologise for some technical difficulties tonight. There was some connection issues with the computer. I'm not sure what's going on there, so hopefully we'll get that sorted and it doesn't come across too badly on this week's show. Shout out to all the guys in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. Shout out to the people whose opinions we tarnished on Twitter in the Wait a Minute Wednesday segment thing. Let us know what you think about that. I've not got much else to say. Well, shall we call it quits for the night?
It's been a pleasure, guys. Continue, like I say, please continue downloading and showing support, and because we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do that. We love you all.
Yep, we do indeed. Take care, guys.
Night, night.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.